Welcome back to Dudes of Disruption, disrupting your automatics, live every Sunday from 2 to 3 on WHCR. Today we are talking about Don't Judge the Book. What is beauty? Dudes of Disruption. You know we have a podcast. Every week on Monday we drop that, and we are currently ranked number 6, 7. It keeps moving around, and it's moving because you guys are listening to us and downloading.
It's in the
we
top
have been
10.
in the top 10 consistently for about the last month, and that is only because you guys are supporting us, and we thank you and love you for all of that. So make sure you keep playing, downloading, and subscribing to the Dudes.
Tommy, where do they find the Dudes?
They can find us on Podomatic for the podcast and on iTunes, Dudes of Disruption. You can find us on social media, Facebook, Dudes of Disruption, Instagram, Dudes of Disruption, and on Twitter at DOD Talk Radio. We are always putting all sorts of good stuff out there, so make sure you connect with the dudes on social.
I have a quick quote before we jump into our lovely guest on the topic of being, Gregory.
Mm-hmm.
So here's the quote. To be is to do, Socrates. To do is to be, Plato. Doobie, doobie doo, Frank Sinatra.
It's hard for me to beat that with whatever I say next, but the good news is I don't have to because we have a guest.
Yes.
And I know she's going to bring it. And our guest sitting to my left and to your right is Sulma Arzu-Brown. And she is author of the book, Bad Hair Does Not Exist.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me. Dudes of Destruction.
Disruption.
Disruption.
Yes.
So
She
that
did
makes
it.
me the
Yes.
chica of disruption.
Oh, I like
Ooh,
that.
chica.
I like that.
Well, very interesting that you switched up the language on
Right.
us, because reading your bio, you reference yourself as a Garifuna?
Garifuna.
Garifuna.
Garifuna. The accent is on the second syllable.
Ooh, that's nice. See, that's why you got to practice your Spanish, lavacito.
I'm not.
I'm telling you,
but
it's important.
But I'm not Lovacito.
You'll always be lavacito to me.
Yes, but she's
Back to our guest.
she's French
I'm
Canadian.
going to disrupt this mess.
Yes. So for those out there who don't know, what is that?
Well,
Can you say it one more time, by
Yeah.
the way?
Sure. I am a Garifuna.
Garifuna.
Garifuna woman from Honduras. The Garifuna people were actually forcibly deported from the island of St. Vincent and the Grenadines back in 1797 after they killed our chief Joseph Chatouillier. The island of St. Vincent was actually the last island in the Caribbean to be colonized, and that is because my people, the Garifuna people, fought. We were able to escape cultural genocide, which was the number 1 intent, and enslavement, which was number 2 intent. And because we escaped, we ended up in the coastland of Central America, right now an island called Roatan, which is the Bay Islands. And we came inland because the Spanish were gracious enough to let us in. Why? Because they were looking for gold, so they needed higher land. So they let us stay in the coastland, and from there we migrated to Honduras, Guatemala, Belize, and Nicaragua. And because of migration, we were able to come to the United States, and now we have an estimated 250,000 Garifunas living in New York alone. Interesting fact. The first black play in the Americas was called The Drama of King Chatouillier. King Chatouillier was the king of the Garifuna people. And the drama of King Chatouillier was presented in 1823 by a musician named Henry Brown at the North Grove Theater in Broadway. So that is our
Whoa.
connection to the African American.
And the Garifuna.
Yes.
Have
Whoa, listen to you.
He
You
got
said
it.
it perfect.
Oh
You
my
got it.
goodness.
Yeah, baby. Hey, I got the last name Papadopoulos. I'm,
You know how to pronounce stuff.
right? Right. So I believe there's a certain hair that that the Garifuna have. And so the question is, what emotions and feelings come to mind when you think about your hair? Because we're having a conversation
Yeah.
today about appearance and body image. And you wrote a book about hair. Bad hair does not
Absolutely.
exist.
Absolutely. Hair is everything having to do with my essence and my roots, right? So because I understand the history of my resilient people, the Garifuna people, I understand that my hair is a representation of what is within my soul and my true essence. So it comes out in the form of curls and different patterns, sometimes coarse. It can be soft. It can be anything because it represents me. But most importantly, it represents the resilience that which is me.
Right.
Yes, and you know, I know that likely your position on hair has evolved over the years. When you were, think back to the past, if you were having a bad day, what emotions would come up for you when you thought about hair, how you were perceived or how you felt about yourself or overall look? Was hair tied to any emotions that weren't always working for you?
Absolutely. As a woman, for example, I look in the mirror all the time, every day, my reflection, you know, just to check on my hair. So it was an important part of something unescapable in my life, right? So whenever my hair wasn't looking up to par or up to standards, or what society would continue would say that it is not good, it doesn't look right, then it will pretty much bring me down the rest of the day. And my friends and I had this saying where if our hair isn't done, then we ain't done, you know, and we ain't right. So sometimes it even kept us from going out to the party or going out to the networking, because we let our hair and our image really dictate every aspect of our lives.
And you bring up a great point, because earlier in the show we talked about what's the impact or what's the cost, what's the consequence when we're being influenced by external forces. You mentioned, you used the word standard, right? What's the standard look? What's the standard look for hair? What's the standard for weight or size, right? Whatever it may be, what's the standard? And it has an impact on us because it has us do things like you described, which is literally disconnect, actually stay home and not go out and connect with other people and go out and do business with other people. It actually has us have the experience of being less than. And when we're bringing a less than version of ourselves, there is a cost.
Absolutely.
There is, and you know, I'd love to shift the conversation to, we've been talking about you, and everyone, you're listening to Sulma Arzu-Brown, author of the book Bad Hair Doesn't Exist, on the show with the dudes. We were talking about how hair has impacted you and your view of yourself, but you, like Tommy, have daughters.
Yes.
And we were touched by a story about how your daughter reacted to a change you made once with your hair. Could you share that with the audience?
Absolutely. And this is one of the stories that I'm privileged to have experienced to even be able to share. The reason why was summer, a couple of years ago, I went to the beauty salon because it was super hot, it was humid, and me working as the executive director of the Garifuna Coalition, I had to attend a lot of meetings. So in between those meetings, I had to go to the beauty salon to get my hair done in the humid summer, and I got tired of it. I made that last trip to the beauty salon, and I said, cut it all off. And my beautician said to me, no, I can't do that. Sulma, cut it all off, or please pass me the scissors, and I will cut it off. I had no idea what I was doing, but she cut it all off. When I got home that day, I was expecting my older daughter, Suleni, to say to me, Mommy, you look beautiful, or Mommy, why did you do that? What she did was a sigh of relief and said, Mommy, we finally look alike. I had no idea that my daughter was going through such an internal battle, trying to be and look and feel like Mommy. And I get emotional every time I say this story, because it allowed me to say, you know what, God, thank you for allowing me to connect to my daughter's essence. And now we were able to embark on a beautiful journey together. And as you see them, they embrace every aspect of themselves, and they know who they are, not at age 30-something like me, but at age 5 and at age 11.
Well, you know, the reason why it touched us so much, and I know me personally, was that same story you talk about your daughter wanting to be like you and getting that sigh of relief. I feel like for myself and for a lot of people, that's us with society.
Yeah.
Looking for acceptance. And what would it be like if we all got to actually breathe that sigh of relief?
Yeah, and it's for the global tribe out there who are parents and who have kids or who are around kids, coaching them, guiding them, teaching in any way. I do believe it's our responsibility to bring a certain way of being. Like you were just describing about your daughter, she was dancing with who you were, who you were being, about your hair in this case. And it was influencing and creating an experience for her of less than, right? And putting all this pressure that she had to look a certain way. So So the invitation to the global tribe is our kids, the people who look up to us, really are looking up to us. In every moment, it's our responsibility to bring present that beauty is within ourselves. As I was saying earlier, ways of being are most important. Who are you being? And that brings up a quote that came from an article. There was an article that we read which inspired us to invite you onto the show. There was an NBC News article. And in the quote it said, "I try to educate people, but the best way to educate people is just by being."
Absolutely.
Can you say something more about being? Because that's been the invitation to the global tribe as a solution out from not comparing ourselves to the norm or to the standards that somebody else made up, by the way.
Exactly. I think that being and existing is very important. And with that comes a lot of responsibility, which means you have to be part of the solution and constantly strive to do the right thing. And in this case, with my own daughters, the right thing was to listen to that inner being and
Right.
experience and become one with God and allow this book to come out, and to the fathers, thank you, for even making sure that your children are exposed to positive people, positive stories such as bad hair does not exist, because there's not a day that my husband does not tell my daughters how stunning they really are. And that has also helped in their being.
That's awesome. And by the way, even though we've been talking about hair, your book being Bad Hair Does Not Exist, this could actually transcend, obviously, beyond hair. Because as parents or as coaches or teachers or guides, we are creating a norm or a standard around weight, skin color, size, how you should look, what clothes to wear, not to wear. And so, again, it's our responsibility as a global tribe to focus more on ways of being. Are you being generous? Are you being loving? Are you being caring? Are you being honest? When you're all those things, my experience at least has been, you're beautiful. You are damn beautiful.
Yes.
Yes, indeed.
And we're here with Zuma Arzu-Brown,
Perfect.
who is an author. Can you say for everybody the full title of the book?
Yes.
And then also let folks know who this book is written for.
Yes. The book is called Bad Hair Does Not Exist, and is in Spanish, Pelo Malo No Existe. And it is written for everyone who's beautiful, gorgeous, all different shapes, colors, and sizes, for little girls of all ages, from the age of comprehension to adulthood. If you want to just be and teach what being is about, definitely pick up the copy of Bad Hair Does Not Exist. And if you're part of a quote-unquote majority group, it's important that we learn about all the different cultures in the globe to make sure that we're culturally sensitive and respect everyone that coexists with us.
That's awesome. How can folks get in touch with you if they want to hear more about your story, your book, or just they want to have you on their show, they want you to come speak? How do they get in touch with you?
They can go to my website, www.badhairdoesnotexist.com. I thought yours was long, but mine is longer. badhairdoesnotexist.com. On Facebook, as well as Sulma V Arzu. But you could just Google Bad Hair Does Not Exist. I will pop up. My email is nopelomalo@gmail.com, which is NOPELOMALO.com, which means no bad hair in Spanish.
Awesome. Well, Zuma
Yes.
Arzu-Brown,
Yes.
author of the book Bad Hair Does Not Exist, we appreciate you coming on today's show about what is beauty.
Thank you. It's an honor and a privilege to be here. To God be the glory.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Dudes of Disruption, and we will be right back.